Now, when it comes to cameras, I think we are very much in the realms of incremental quality of life upgrades. And there hasn't really been a bad camera, I don't think, for probably the last decade. So tonight, I'm out here with Chris, who is hiding in the grass over there. And we're just at Paul. It's right on the Humber estuary. There are a couple of lighthouses behind me. Those are going to be our main subjects this evening. But I brought with me my Lumix G9. It's a fantastic camera. It's my main micro four thirds photo camera now. And I've also brought with me the very first micro four thirds camera, the Lumix G1. So we're just going to stick them side by side, same compositions, same lenses, and take the same photographs and just see how they compare and whether, you know, the very cheap G1 would be good enough for what you need. Now, there's a couple of things to note between the differences between these two cameras. Of course, the resolution difference, 12 megapixels versus 20 megapixels. And of course, you're talking about old micro four thirds sensors versus relatively new micro four thirds sensors. So there are going to be some differences in dynamic range and color depth and all that kind of stuff. But once you've edited those pictures up, because they do both shoot RAW, of course, once you've edited those pictures up, will it really matter? Alright, so just over there behind me are the two lighthouses in the distance. Here we've got a wheat field, so I'm going to use this as like a foreground interest on both of these shots. I'm going to get low down so that the top of the wheat field kind of hits the bottom of the lighthouses and use it as like a faux horizon, if you like. Exact same settings on both cameras. We're using f5, we're using 60mm on the 12-60, and that base ISO is ISO 200. Alright, so there are the two images, one with the G9, one with the G1, and of course there's going to be differences in quality. And one thing I have noticed from actually shooting the images was that the colours on the G1, at least on the screen, do seem a hell of a lot flatter than what they do on the G9. But I mean, again, that maybe comes down to advancements in technology with the screens and such as that, and the processing of the images. But I've shot both in RAW anyway, so it's not going to make a vast amount of difference to the edited images at the end. So just about there, right in the middle of the frame, it looks like a ferry has just left the port in Hull. It'll be coming this way down the river. So what my plan is two handheld shots, obviously one with each camera. The compositions will be a little bit different in this regard because obviously the boat is going to be moving. But I'm hoping to catch a little bit of that sun, you know, hitting the ship in sort of an interesting way, because the sun is like right in the top corner of the frame now as you see it. But this will be a good indicator of how well the G1 can handle the highlights versus the G9. So I think it's high contrast shots like this one is going to be, which is going to really separate the old camera from the new camera. Sensor technology has come on a hell of a long way, and the dynamic range you can get out of the G9 versus what's possible with the G1, I think it's going to be noticeable, especially in those highlights. But let's see what we can do. Right, so I'll quick a little bit about the G1. I mean, I know it's been out like forever at this point, but 12 megapixels, a micro four thirds sensor, and it doesn't do any video, it doesn't have any fancy stuff in it really at all. It's just a bare bones photo camera, and I think that is part of its charm. Much like one of my favorite cameras, the Canon 400D, its simplicity is what makes it so special. So I remembered I brought my macro lens with me and we'll buy this wheat field, so I'm going to pick a piece of wheat and take the same shot with both the G9 and the G1. This is just the Olympus 60mm f2.8 macro, and here are the shots. So I think I figured out my next shot. We're at this red lighthouse. This is the one, it's all sort of tall and steel and rivets and texture, and it's rusted and knackered and it looks fantastic. Now the sun is just kind of over in that direction, so it's kind of hitting it, not directly on the side, but it's kind of like on the side and from behind. I'm going to take my shot from around here. It's going to be kind of like a look up shot, but I want to avoid the silhouette. So what I'm likely going to do is probably use the 12-60, focus on that top section. There's like a railing around the top. That's probably going to be my focus point. And again, I'm going to shoot with the G9 and the G1 and compare the pictures afterwards. I've got my shot lined up. It's not the most interesting of shot because we've got absolutely no interest in the sky at all. It's just a completely flat blue sky. But again, this will give you an indication of what you can expect as a difference between the G9 and the G1. Now, of course, technically you can't really compare something like the G9 to something like the G1. There is a massive amount of time between the release of these two cameras, a massive amount of advancement in technology, and you know, this is a pro-grade camera. This is very much not, but again, it doesn't really matter depending on your use case. And I love using these older cameras. You know, the sort of crap I've used in this channel. I like to test myself because if I can get a good picture with this, I can absolutely get a good picture with this, with all of its refinements and all of its extra features to make my life easier. So yeah, would I recommend the G1? Absolutely, 100%. And another reason why I would recommend the G1 is because, if I'm not mistaken, at this point in time, Lumix, Nikon as well, they're not the only offenders, but they had some bloody awful colors and they're so gross, you just have to have them. So yeah, if you can find one of these in like gold or nasty red or even blue, just go for it. They're awesome. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.